Hello everyone, welcome back. This piece of ground here, there's about 5 acres of it, is the piece of ground that we're going to put into pumpkins. And as you can see, it's just been moldboard plowed. I ran over it one time with the disc, but we've got a lot of trash growing back in it. It's very uneven. It's nowhere near the seed bed that we want. So what we're going to do, we're going to take the New Holland and the tough line disc, and we're going to try to chop as much of this up as we possibly can. And then when we get done with this field, the 5 acres on the other side of that fence row there, that's going into corn. It's in about, part of it's in, that's the field I broke the disc in. I still ain't figured out how I done that, but that's where I done it. So that's about half of it has been disced down a little bit, the other half hasn't. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our time, we're going to try to work this in. I'm really not pushing, I'm just trying to get as much of this trash cut up as possible. And then what we'll do once we get it all cut up, then we'll bring the 9-tooth in. But the goal for today is to make this look a lot better. So get a good look at it and we'll see what we can do with it. So let's get started. AC's still acting up a little bit on the New Holland, but we got some stuff coming to hopefully help that out. So here we go. Okay, that looks better. We got over that one time. It's nowhere near ready to plant, but it's a lot better shape than it was. So what we'll do next, I'll probably run over it again today once I get this over here done, but I may run over it one more time, single cut it, set the disc a little less aggressive, run over it just to get some of the weeds and stuff that didn't get that passed. But this is a good example of, you need to know your ground. This is pretty black sandy loam ground. If this had been a stiff clay or whatever, there's no way with that much, as long as that's laid there, that it would have cut up. I'd have had to took the 9-tooth spring tooth, went through and ripped it, and then brought the disc to try to cut up some of the organic matter. So knowing what soil you got is and how to work it is one of the keys to farming. No matter what you're growing or where you're growing or whatever, knowing what kind of soil you got and how to work it. And every little piece of ground's a little different. That bottom there is a little different than this one. This one is it's more sandy. It's got more of a gravelly feel to it. This on the lower end is the same as this, but on the upper end is more clay. So let's get back to work, and you can see, I guess you can see, I'll try to show it to you. Looks like we may get a storm blow up sometime today, but you can see I was working on this field when I broke the disc last time. I got over to them light poles. You can see the cover crop regrowth over there. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go over all of it, get this ready. This from the light pole back will be the next round of corn planting. So I want to get it ready. I'd like to plant it about Monday or Tuesday if at all possible. So and you can see we're starting to get some regrowth and stuff, but this is in pretty good shape. I could 9-tooth it, put the fertilizer on it, and 9-tooth it in, incorporate it in, and plant it. But since we got the disc here and we got some weeds, we're going to see if we can cut it up. So this field looks a lot bigger than that one until you get on it. That field and this field are actually pretty close to exactly the same size. And if you look at them, depends on which way you look at them, one looks bigger than the other, but they're pretty much the same size. So let's get back to work. Okay, we've got this field and that field over there in pretty good shape now. Here's our potatoes we planted. They look okay. Some of them do anyhow. Some of them not so much, but that over there's the pumpkin ground, so we'll have to spring tooth it and then fertilize it. And then about half of this field here, I'm gonna try planting corn next week, and then we'll wait about a week or so and plant the other section. Then we'll have one more field that we'll split like that for corn. So now we've got that for pumpkins. We got another field for pumpkins that I ran the disc over this morning, but I didn't video it. It's clay ground, and it's a lot worse than either one of those fields were. So I ran a disc over it just to smooth it up very, very little. And so we're gonna go get the spring tooth and go to that field and get it ripped up. And I'm gonna try my best to tear it all to pieces. You can see right through here where my finger's at, those are the 3 strips where we planted watermelons the other day. So this nice thing about this farm, we've got you know, there's about 1.5 acres of that, 2 acres. There's 5 acres here and 5 acres there. So it's all pretty close here, and it makes it easier. So we're getting there. It's been a bit of a grind this year, but we're getting there. So let's go get us some fuel, and then go get the spring tooth, and then go get started on that. Okay, we got ourselves a situation here. This ground is pretty clay, and it had only been moorboard plowed until this morning, and I ran the disc over it and just smoothed it up very little, because basically where this ground has laid here and baked out, the disc can't do much with it. I need this ground to be a lot looser in order for the disc to work properly to cut these clods up. It's got to run down a little bit, and it's hard right now. The disc just riding over top of it. Now there's this field, there's another one off the hill here below. This is the hay field we put up the other day. There's another field down there that we're going to put in pumpkins as well. So in order to get the disc to do the job I need the disc to do, I'm gonna have to add a step. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take the spring tooth and I'm gonna loosen this ground up. Now it's still gonna be cloddy, and we'll still have to disc it to deal with the clods, but I can run over it 15-20 times with the disc, and it's not going to do the job I want it to, and it's just going to compact that soil right on down. So we're going to take the 9-tooth, the spring tooth, and rip this and that patch down there up. Now you may ask me, well, if you're going to have to do this, why not just use the spring tooth in lieu of moorboard plowing? Well, in this piece of ground, if it hadn't been moorboard plowed, that spring tooth wouldn't do nothing for it. It'd be like the disc, it'd just rake across the top in this particular soil. There's other benefits to moorboard plowing besides that, but if it hadn't been moorboard plowed, I'd have to plow it. Right now, I'd plow it and immediately knock it down. But so what we're going to do, like I said, we've went to the house, we've changed implements. Somebody commented the other day, I need a quick hitch. Yeah, I've thought about a quick hitch a time or two, because I do a lot of hooking and unhooking. But we're going to take this 9-tooth in our drag and see what we can do to get that loosened up, so we can then take the disc and get it ready. Now this patch of pumpkins will be the last of the pumpkins planted. They'll be the last of our pumpkins we plant. So we got a little more time on this, but I'm gonna go ahead and rip it up and see what happens. Don't know whether I've ever mentioned it before or not, but I do live in a beautiful part of the world. Anyhow, we got that field, and that field chiseled up a little bit. It's still a mess, but at least now we can do something with it. And sometimes, depending on the ground, the conditions, and what you're dealing with, you have to do things like that. My goal in farming is to produce as much of as high quality as product as I can at the end of the day. I take great pride in selling good quality product to my customers, and it all starts, each step of the process you have to approach it the same way as selling the final product, trying to get this seed bed as close to perfect as we can get it without going extreme. I mean, I could go home, get the disc, and spend the rest of the night on there just pulverizing that. End of the day, you know, I can't spend $1,000 worth of fuel to make $500 in product. So, you know, you got to balance it out. But the goal is to get it as near perfect as you possibly can. And if you take that approach through every aspect in your farm operation, more often than not, it'll work out for you. I asked a question yesterday about the live stream. I had some responses. We'll try to do one. I'll try to set one up and announce it, and you know, give everybody a heads up. We may just do a question and answer session. I'll try to answer as many questions as I can. Some questions I won't answer, but I'll try to do as many as I can. If you like what we're doing, please subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you see a video you like, give it a thumbs up. If you have a question or comment, please do so. We're pretty much done for the day. Let's head home. Tractors had a hard day today, but anyhow, everybody take care of yourself. We'll see you after a while.